Here we are. We're a week away from Endgame. We've got a lot of questions. We've gotten a few answers, but even more questions. You and I, we had a discussion and we said, you know what we ought to do for something on the channel? We should figure out exactly. We're going to go down. We're going to go through the entire roster, or most of the roster at least, of Marvel characters, MCU proper characters, and what we're going to do is we're going to say if they're either avenged and they make it to the end of Endgame, or they're fallen and they don't see the light of day post Endgame. Now, there are a few omissions that I have here. The only ones that I have fully omitted from the list is Peter Parker, Nick Fury, and Maria Hill. Those are the only characters that I've fully removed from this list. Here we go. Let's see who gets revenged and who gets fallen.
Avenged.
And who gets avenged and who is the fallen for Avengers Endgame. All right, first up on the list, Peter Quill.
He lives.
You think he lives? I think
he's their money marker.
I think I gotta agree with you, man. He's in there. I don't see any reason why that they would get rid of Peter Quill. Now, I do think that maybe not all of the Guardians make it out of this movie, but I do think Peter Quill is safe. Moving on, Gamora. Does she make it to the end of Endgame, or does she not?
Because, and this all constitutes on how they get the stones to reverse the snap, which is probably what's going to happen. She technically didn't die from the snap, so I believe my thing is, and I kind of feel this way, if a death happened before the snap, it should be permanent, or there should have to be another way to get them. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say dead.
Wow, okay. Mr. Negative Nelly.
I think she's back in Guardians 3 somehow. And obviously she's in this movie because she was one of the only public people that didn't survive in Infinity War that was posting pictures, like set photos and stuff as far as like being in makeup for Endgame.
Right.
So, and going to do reshoots with Nebula. So, but no, I think dead. But she's in the movie, but she's dead.
It does not make it to the end of the movie. You know what, man? I think I do completely agree with you that she was not.
She's gonna live at the end. I mean, but I'm saying dead.
I understand. I do think she makes it out of Endgame. She's brought back one way or another. She was not part of the decimation, if that's what they're calling it. But I do think that somehow, one way or another, she is brought back for this movie. All right, as we continue, Rocket. Does Rocket make it to the end of Endgame?
I'd actually love to see him, because it would actually be a complete character arc for him, is if his character sacrifices himself for the other Guardians in this movie, but he's going to live. Because he's actually a little, granted it's Bradley Cooper's voice, so I'm sure he's pretty expensive for a voice actor, but it's also probably Bradley Cooper in a booth for like a week for these movies. So yeah, he lives.
Dude, I'm agreeing with you. I don't think there's any way they kill off Rocket, dude. If you kill off a raccoon in a movie, you just have no heart. I'm totally with you. All right, as we continue here, we got, dude. If you're talking about Rocket, you got to talk about Groot. Does Groot make it to the end of Endgame?
Teenage Groot, or like an offspring of Groot? Because technically Groot's died already.
That's a very good question. It's a very good question. We'll just say Groot as a whole.
Okay.
Some version of
real
Groot.
talk to, they're like, hey, Groot's the last of his kind, and we see him in that movie get like blown up, and like another Groot like offspring exists, and I'm like, he can't just do this, like he doesn't have seeds or something.
Do it
like
several times. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then how does Thor take Groot as an elective?
That blows my mind every time I see something where I'm like, Groot is a part of Thor's. What Groot is part of the Avengers, his arm. It's so weird. So weird to me. I hated it at first, and now I'm like, whatever, it's comics. It's a very comic book thing. Groot's gonna live. He's Groot. He's super cheap to do.
I can't disagree with that. Groot makes it out of the end of Endgame and continues to fight another day. Drax, I
actually want him to die, honestly, which he's not going to, I'm sure, but he needs to be. I want the Guardians to take out Thanos. And shameless plug here, on my episode of The Snap, which is like a podcast that's kind of reviewing all the different MCU movies. I was a guest on the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 episode. My big thing is I want the Guardians to be the ones to actually kill Thanos or take him out, whatever you want to call it.
I've said
because the Avengers don't have the stakes as high as the Guardians.
I completely agree with 100% with you. I've said from day one that I want either Drax or Gamora to be the one to take out Thanos.
Yeah. I would love, like, the shot when when Spider-Man gets the glove off or the gauntlet off in Infinity War. I kind of want that type of thing, but it's just the Guardians doing it. Like, because I think that it's just like, it just seems to me they're the ones that have personal stakes against Thanos. Right. No Avenger before the decimation has a personal stake against Thanos. Not even Thor.
Yeah.
Like,
this whole thing about Captain Marvel taking him out, dude, I don't buy it, man. I gotta think it's
that's a cheap theory.
I don't want it to be
choose new.
I don't want it to be her. I don't want it to be Thor. I want it to be Drax, or I want it to be Gamora, or even Nebula, dude, or a combination of the three.
Dude, Nebula would be such an awesome character arc just to end hers that way. Now I don't know are we moving to her character?
She's on the list. We can. What did you say? What did you have to? You don't think Drax is gonna make it?
Because I see him killing himself. I'm gonna say Drax is gonna make it. Okay. I wanted him to have like killing blow, but he'll make it. I gotta think that I mean, and it's tough to say, man, but I could easily see them killing him off at the end of this movie, whether he sacrifices himself for some reason or something like that, ultimately to the end of Thanos. I would love to see him go out that way. However, I also would love to see some type of romance between him and Mantis, because I recently rewatched Guardians 2 and I had forgotten that there's like a little thing between the two of them. So you know what? I say screw it. My answer's changed. He's still living. Speaking of Mantis, does Mantis? Oh, I don't think Mantis and him's relationship is romantic at all.
Really?
It's a father-daughter relationship. He sees his daughter in her.
Okay, I'm switching my answer back.
Just watch this scene. If you ever think about this later or something,
I misunderstood it. Then I guess
YouTube the scene in Guardians 2 where he's sitting on the stairs in front of Ego's like palace or whatever,
right,
with her and he's talking about his daughter.
I remember the scene. Yeah. And he does say, "You remind me of my daughter."
Yeah, I don't think he's trying to bone his. They do weird stuff.
I'd forgotten about that.
But no, I think that's a sweet thing that he's kind of like, he wants to protect her. That's probably the first person he's wanted to defend versus be offensive about since his wife and daughter have died. Right. He's always like go 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 go, and with her, he's always just kind of more relaxed and like he's almost wanting to be cool around her, where everyone else he's Drax. So I'm like, I love their relationship.
Speaking, just for the record, I don't think Drax makes it to the end of the movie. Speaking of Mantis, she's the next on the list. Do you think Mantis makes it to the end of Endgame?
Sure. She's always going to be kind of like a background character, to be honest.
I like
agree. Her character, but she's kind of... she might as well be a Marvel TV show character.
I would love for her to get like a moment in this, and she did have kind of a moment in, she was very imperative in almost bringing down Thanos for that split second there. That they couldn't have done it without her. So
I mean, she did it with Ego, who's a Celestial,
right?
And then she did it with Thanos. Like she's arguably the most powerful Avenger.
We mentioned her earlier. Let's get into Nebula. Does Nebula make it to the end of the movie?
No. She's grown on me a lot since the first Guardian, so that's kind of like, yes. I don't like saying that.
Yes, I completely agree. Her character's her arc is completely different, and if she has to go out in some way where her and Gamora make amends in one way or another. And I ultimately think that somehow she ends up going out via some kind of sacrifice or something like that. So we are both on the same page that Nebula she is one of the fallen. She does not make it to the end of Endgame.
Do you think maybe she throws herself if they have to do a whole soul stone sacrifice? I could see her sacrificing herself to bring Gamora back.
That is, dude.
Swap places with her.
We are figuring some stuff out right now. I like that idea. Which would be
beautiful. That would be an amazing.
I like that idea a lot. I like that idea very much.
Yeah.
All right, that does it for our Guardians lineup. Let's move into Black Panther, and of course, we can't do it without the man himself, T'Challa. I mean, I think this is one of the more obvious ones. There's
or like T'Chinga. They got to keep him. He's alive.
He's living. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
T'Challa is not going anywhere. But we have a few other characters from that realm. M'Baku. Does M'Baku make it?
I could see him dying, but Winston Duke's gotten so popular, they're going to keep him because he could be an interesting concept and kind of like anti-hero to Black Panther in the MCU. So he'll live. But I think it'd be interesting if we have one Black Panther character die, but we don't. For as little as we've seen Black Panther characters in the MCU, it feels like we've had them for like years.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I mean, you go back to Civil War. I mean, we kind of have.
Oh yeah, true.
All right, I think we're both on the same page. M'Baku does make it to the end of Endgame. He is safe. He is avenged. Let's see here. Shuri. Does Shuri make it?
Yeah, my queen. Yeah.
Absolutely 100% Shuri makes it. I am with you. And last one here, Okoye.
Yes, because I think she's also a really fun, important character for them. I do think she makes it. They're putting her a lot in the marketing, and I think it's going to end up being like Wong in Infinity War, where you get like maybe 10 minutes of screen time with her, if that. But yeah, because like if we were getting as much, I feel like if she was big in the movie, we'd at least be getting like M'Baku and marketing too. But I think they wanted a Black Panther character there to be like, hey, this is a hero from Black Panther. That's a marketing thing to me. That's just what I'm thinking about it,
dude.
But I think she's gonna live.
See, me on the other hand, dude, I could easily see her not making it. Whether you want to, I think that would do a lot for continuing on that storyline for future Black Panther movies. I think it's just one of those reasons to where it would just help strengthen that character. The fact that some loss, I think, would help that character sort of move on to other things. So for me, Okoye does not make it. All right, man. Another. This is a big one here, and this I might have put this one on a little bit too early. But moving into sort of like the Thor realm of characters, and of course we're leading off with a big dog, Loki. Do we see Loki again?
We'll see Loki again. I'm sure. I think Loki in the current timeline is dead.
So you think okay. So yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We've gotten all that news that we like Loki is going to be in his own series and it's going to take place during different timelines but you think Loki's dead and he's going to stay dead.
Here's what's going to happen. Here's my my like 15-second elevator pitch for how this needs to work.
Okay.
Loki's going to be in hell because there's a rumor that's been around for a while now that Thor will go to hell and convince Hela for an army, like an Asgardian army. So let's say he does that, or you see Loki. People love Loki, right? So Loki's going to be dead in hell. We're going to get a cameo by him in this movie, but he's dead. He's stuck there in the Loki series, since it's supposed to be about his story of like him growing up and things like that, and just like a prequel. It's going to be narrated, and you're going to see like smaller scenes with Tom Hiddleston because he's going to be telling his story to someone or something from hell.
Huh.
Like, I think it's going to be like, this is my story. This is how it started. And he's at the end of his story, in a sense. He's just stuck in hell, or he's ruling hell. But this is my story on Asgard, like my life.
But you don't think Loki actually lives beyond this point. So he is fallen. Dude, I got to think he comes back one way or another. I don't know how.
I kind of don't want that.
I don't disagree with that at all. I'm thinking, as popular as the character is, and I mean, they're talking about him with his own series and stuff.
Well, that's why you got him as a series. You don't have to worry about him.
I don't disagree, man, but I think you got to have him in movies going forward.
It's a money decision for sure.
For me, I think he lives. I think he comes back. And my pen's running out of ink. There we go. So I think, Loki returns. Let's continue here. Valkyrie, does she make it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Valkyrie, I agree with that. Yeah, I think ultimately, I think that she is going to somehow, one way or another, they're going to form some type of romantic thing for her and Thor. So yeah, I totally agree that she makes it to the end of the movie. Let's see, last one here, and this is a pretty easy one. Or no, there's technically two more. Heimdall. Do we ever see Heimdall again?
No.
Heimdall's gone. He
100% no.
He's out of there. Yeah. I think once you got the news that Idris Elba was going to be in the new Suicide Squad, I think that was the nail in the coffin, so to say, for the Heimdall character. And we will 100 T Pulse. 100 T Pulse mentioned in the comments that they wanted to know, will Thanos die? We're gonna save that. I've got that one actually saved for last, so we'll discuss that one at the very end.
I don't feel like we're gonna have the same. One of us is yes, one of us is no on that one. Honestly,
maybe.
I really think
let's
so.
get through. So we said no on Heimdall. I got Korg / Meek. I don't even know if they're in the movie, but do they make it?
I think by this time they've got, if Valkyrie's in the movie, people love them. They've got to be in the movie.
I think they've got to have
totally
a cameo.
Would have done voice of VO for this.
Somehow, I think Korg and Meek have to make a cameo, and there is no way in all they don't make it to the end of the movie. You got to have them in something, dude. A series, or I don't know, something. So that does it for the Thor realm of characters. Let's continue here. Scott Lang. Ant-Man. Do we see Ant-Man?
Absolutely. Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because I'm going the other way. I don't think he makes it, dude. I don't think he makes it.
You think they're getting rid of Paul Rudd this early?
I don't want to believe it, but I feel like I just feel it in my gut, dude. I don't want it. Dude. I don't want it to happen, but I feel like it's going to happen.
I'm going to say it right now. Out of every character, Paul Rudd as Scott Lang is my lock to make it through Endgame.
Oh, like he's like. Oh,
I'll bet you at Hattie B's lunch he makes it.
All right, I'll take you up on the bet since I'm sticking with it, man. Okay. You say yes, I'm gonna say no. I'm probably wrong. I'm gonna circle that one for the bet.
Yeah, that's a lunch bet.
Well, we shall see.
Since we get lunch together sometimes now, it actually works.
Yeah. However, on the other hand, my next character, Wasp.
Please don't tell people we hang out.
No, do we hang out all the time?
Wasp. All the time, buddy.
Does Wasp? Does Evangeline
Absolutely,
Lilly?
Yes.
Yes, I am with you 100%. Evangeline Lilly, Wasp, and that's the reason why I think there's a chance that Scott Lang doesn't make it, is because I think that they will explore those abilities more with the Wasp character going forward. I don't know.
Yeah, the MCU versions of Ant-Man and Wasp are a little too similar.
That's why
it's like Iron Man and War Machine.
That's my only. I'm probably way wrong on that. This is where I wrote down Fury and Maria Hill and Peter Parker. Obviously, we know that. I mean, if we are to believe Kevin Feige, we know that that we 100 T Pulse mentioned in the comments. Ant-Man serves his purpose, and his story should end in Endgame. I don't
think that at all. I think he's fantastic. He's such a fun character.
I love him to death, dude. Paul Rudd is probably might be one of my favorite actors, but I'm
not going to say people hate like Scott Lang in the MCU as far as just that character, but I feel like he's the most disliked MCU character, like mainline, like you have your own movie character.
That's interesting. I don't know. Well, only time will tell. Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange,
dude, 1,000,000%.
This was almost one that I was like, there's a no-brainer. If they did take him out in the movie, dude, that would be absolutely insane. Doctor Strange 100% makes it to the end of Endgame. So speaking of Doctor Strange, what about Wong?
Yeah, because I think Wong. I was thinking about this today, actually. Doctor Strange's like solo movies, like his group, everyone kind of has a group around him for their movies. Doctor Strange really only has Wong because the Ancient One died. I don't feel like Rachel McAdams would be back because he kind of left that life behind, even though she was a part of it. It's not like they end Doctor Strange being romantically involved. So I think Wong is there because Wong's his like right-hand man. So yeah, I think Wong lives. I'm
gonna agree with you on that. I think Wong.
I can see Wong getting like straight up murdered in Doctor Strange too, but I think he lasts through this movie.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Let's see here, Rhodey, War Machine.
I think he will because to be honest, financially and business side, I think he's one of the cheaper actors that if they get rid of Tony Stark, he's the guy to wear your arc reactor and kind of like
be your
that
Iron Man
liaison between the military, maybe SHIELD, He'd be great for Shield. Yeah, be your Iron Man, be your kind of guy who's like, oh, I've been here before, and kind of come. He's always been around, so he's a good conduit for newer characters for us and the audience because we feel comfortable seeing him. So I think Rhodey lives. Even though I think Rhodey, he almost died he would have died in Civil War if they wanted to get rid of him.
Dude, I feel like he's almost died like twice, 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, honestly, he should have died in Civil War because that would have made it much more important.
If they killed off the character in Endgame, I think that would be kind of a slap in the face to the character. And so I don't think there's any way at all that they kill off Rhodey in Endgame. For all the reasons that you said it way better than I could. Rhodey makes it. Let's see here, Pepper Potts.
Yes, I feel like it would be so weird if they killed Pepper. Pepper makes it.
Man, it's a tough one. It's a toss up for me because,
dude, what if we get to they start the movie and she actually got snapped and they were messing with us the whole time?
You've been saying that for so long.
It could happen.
It could happen, man. I don't know.
When have we actually seen like shots of her like in the trailer? Like I think we get one shot from a TV clip or something where she's hugging Tony. But besides that, we haven't really gotten it. And it's like she could be there for like alternate realities or like flashbacks or flash forwards or something.
Right.
So I don't know. Like I think that would just make Tony's whole like his weakness is Pepper. That's his weakness, and his love for his like the Avengers and Peter and everything. His weakness is people, even though he doesn't like to put that out there.
Right.
And I think that that would be interesting. That would be the ultimate like crutch for Tony. So I don't know. I think she lives, but I think I would love if she was dusted.
I mean, I think you and I are on the same page. It would be tough for me to see her. I think every character needs to experience loss, extended loss in one way or another via this movie. But dude, I think taking out Pepper is not the way to do it. So I think she lives. But what I will say is for the next character, Happy. Do you think Happy makes it to the end of Endgame?
Oh, yeah, he's in the Far From Home trailer. He makes it.
Oh, dude, you're so right, dude. Dang it, dude, I'm an idiot. Happy,
he's safe. Yeah,
he's safe. Happy's in there. Oh man,
yeah.
I was gonna say if I could see any character not making it, it would have been Happy. But you remind, dude, I'm such.
Well, he almost died in Iron Man 3, so that would be like the whole Rhodey and Civil War thing.
I'm such an idiot, man. Happy makes it. All right, we're moving into the big dogs now. Bucky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bucky's safe.
Because I do think, as far as the TV shows go, Wanda and Vision, I could almost see taking place before. I don't know why. I could see that taking place at least somewhat before, during the Infinity War timeline where they're actually on the run.
Me too.
And they just try to go settle. Because you should read the whole, like, the Wanda and the Scarlet Witch and Vision comic where they try to go settle down and all that. But, yeah, I think it could, or at least it'll incorporate that a little bit. But Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be after Endgame. I don't see any way it's not.
I mean, yeah, I think that was tough because they were almost two that I didn't want to include in this list. Both Bucky and Falcon. I think there's we got 100%. They both make it. We can discuss that more for future characters. Let's see here, Vision.
Yes, and I think in a new way because he obviously can't have the stone by the end of it.
Do you think he's a different character?
No, I think it's Vision. I think it's his memories and everything, but I think he's the one who gets the biggest change with his look as far as Avengers go by the end of this movie. That stay alive. I think he lives. Vision's awesome. He's too OP, but they never let him go full power.
Right. I'm with you, man. I think that there's really, it would be tough to not see, in my opinion, both Vision and Wanda make it out of this movie alive. So for me, Wanda does make it. What do you think Wanda makes it out of the end of the movie?
Sure. Wanda and Vision's love story. You know I'm a sucker for it.
It has to continue.
I love them in Infinity War.
All right. We are almost done with this list here, man. And this was another one that like I was like, I shouldn't even include this one, but we'll just see. Captain Marvel.
Yeah, even though I'm sure people are going to be like, she needs to die. And be like, why? Because she just had a movie
She's
and no
a
one
girl.
liked her?
No, I think Marvel, Captain Marvel, she is going to be And the reason why they have to continue to keep her alive is she is going to be one of like the tent poles of the MCU going forward. She's going to be that conduit into the cosmic side of the universe. So I think there's absolutely no way they kill off Captain Marvel for Endgame. All right. For a change of pace, let's see here. Mr. Clint Barton himself, Hawkeye.
Yes, I think he retires. Like, I think he lives, but he's done.
I like that idea. You know, there's that rumor floating around that he's getting his own series, and in his series, it's like him training his daughter, Kate Bishop.
It's just a random girl, but in the MCU, it could be one of his kids.
No. No, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Else.
I'm sorry. I'm getting mixed up there.
I'd be fine though if it was like the ultimate, like, take your daughter to work day, like it's Hawkeye training his daughter to be an assassin for S.H.I.E.L.D. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be. So I think I think we're both on the same page. Hawkeye, he's making it, man. So we can't mention Hawkeye without mentioning Black Widow. Now, we know that Black Widow, she's got her own movie coming now. Where the timeline of that movie takes place, still a little bit up in the air, even though it might be a prequel. Who knows? With that said, though, man, it would be really tough for me to see them killing off Black Widow in this movie. So for me, my vote is that she continues, that she makes it. What say you?
Yeah, I think she does. And again, I think this is my favorite thing that I want to happen out of Endgame. And I've been saying this for a minute. I want Scarlet Witch. You always do that, and I'm getting it from you. I want Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow. I want her to be the next Nick Fury in the next phase of the MCU.
Ooh.
Like, I want her to be kind of she can go out and kick ass and all that, but I think she would be so incredible to be God, this is such a bad way to put it, but the man in the chair and kind of the mastermind behind the teams. She's so tactical. She's still really cool. It lets Scarlett Johansson not have to worry about filming a lot for these movies and like have to be super physically in shape and like all that crazy workout she has to do. But she can also sit there and do that if they want her to. I want her to live because I think she's so cool.
I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I like that idea a lot. That she, maybe it's her that helps sort of like bring S.H.I.E.L.D. back in one way or another, like her and Nick Fury or something like that. That would be really cool. All right, man. We're almost down to the cream of the crop here, and man, I got to know: does Bruce Banner, Hulk, make it out of Endgame?
I feel like somehow he is, but I don't want him to. I'm going to say no.
I gotta say, I feel like it makes sense for him not to make it in one way or another. Now, I mean, the Hulk has been brought back several times, has been taken away and brought back several times in the comics, and it would be interesting to see if somehow down the road maybe he's brought back in one way or another. But for my money, I fully 100% expect to see Bruce Banner not make it out of Endgame.
I will say the easy way out for this is for them to get it to where, obviously the rumor is Professor Hulk. That's been a rumor for a while.
Right.
But if that does happen, he stays in that form and he cannot go back to human form, which I wouldn't like. And we were texting about that in our group chat today. I wouldn't like for him to be stuck in Hulk form and then it be Mark Ruffalo's mind with the Hulk's body. I like them fighting with each other or arguing, at least, kind of like how Venom did in the movie. Only thing they did right. And I think that's how you keep Mark Ruffalo on, is all he has to do is like facial capture and the voice, but it's always going to be the Hulk's body. So I think that's how he stays alive, because I think a lot of this comes down to financials and them being like, I'm kind of over this phase of my life is over. Well,
yeah, I mean, at some point you have to just move on from these main characters. Now, I mean, we've got the tippy top here left to mention, but dude, I think that if you're going to lose, if you're got to be ensured that you are going to lose at least one of your main big dogs, Hulk makes the most sense to me. So for me, I don't think Hulk makes it, and I think you were on the same page, right?
Yeah.
All right, man.
Even though I think he will just as Hulk, but yeah, I think Bruce Banner does.
Yeah. What about Thor?
Man, I feel like his arc needs to end with him being king of Asgard, because that's kind of what he's meant to be.
This is a tough one, yeah.
Yeah, I think out of everyone, he's the one that I don't have like this definitive answer for. I think he's gonna live only because he's gotten so popular, and he got popular enough before Infinity War even started filming, and I'm sure being written, which turned into Endgame, that I think they want to keep him around. Even though before Ragnarok, which is like a year before Infinity War, he was arguably like the weakest main Avenger as far as like story wise and popularity. Now he's honestly, I think people want to see a solo Thor movie more than they want to see a solo Iron Man or Captain America movie.
Yeah, no, so, I mean, with the way Ragnarok sort of
Ragnarok our world, man.
Yeah, it did. I think we out of all of the solo movies, I think people want another Thor more than anything. I think you and I are mostly on the same page. I don't see them taking out Thor at this point. I think there's still more to be done with the character. I think Asgard needs a new king. I think a new Asgard needs to be built somewhere. And my idea is, and let me know if you think if this works or not. My idea sort of is just I could see him sort of like going into a retirement, quote unquote, after Endgame to sort of maintain Asgard and not be so involved with sort of like the in and out stuff with the Avengers. He's still around, sure. But maybe he pops in and out of a movie in the future, and maybe we get another Thor movie. But I think after Endgame, he sort of moves on. Maybe we get a new Hulk or a new Thor, excuse me, in one way or another. But I think Thor himself makes it out of the movie, but I could see him going into sort of like a retirement phase after Endgame. But I do think he 100% makes it.
Yeah, I think he becomes more of a diplomat, and he wants to be a good ruler for his people by the end of this, right. Which will be interesting if Thor 4, especially Taika Waititi, does a movie. Because at that point, is it like not a lazy, but kind of an out of touch Thor having to go on an adventure again, So I think that could be interesting. Yeah. But yeah, I would love to see Thor, like a Thor movie that takes place like Spider-Man 2099, but do it with Thor in the MCU.
That would be cool.
I would love something like that.
All right, man. We've got just a couple left. Steve Rogers, Captain America. Does he make it? Or does he fall?
Honestly, I think they're going to pull a fast one, and he's actually going to live. But I think everything points to he dies, so I think that's why he lives. Because I think he's the one that they're going to kind of switch out. But no, I think he dies.
I have a few different thoughts about this. I don't think he dies, but I don't think he is part of the current timeline anymore. I don't know. I latched onto this idea weeks ago, and I haven't been able to get it out of my head and it doesn't exactly make sense. Like, it doesn't make exact sense, but I would absolutely love him. I would love it for that character to sort of be plucked. He's a character. He's a sort of a fish out of water. He's a man with no time. I would love to see him put back into his timeline in the 1940s to sort of live out his life with Peggy and no longer be a part of the current timeline. So in a sense, he's dead. Yes, because obviously by the 1940s, I think the character would be dead. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. But maybe we see a really old Steve Rogers down the road at some point. But for my money, I think he's not necessarily dead, but I don't think he is part of the universe going forward.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of him going to be back in time with Peggy, because that would mess up the timeline.
It's a messy theory.
It's such a sweet thing to think of. Of course, who wouldn't want that? But yeah, it's
You just think he gets taken out?
Yeah, I think Cap makes the ultimate sacrifice.
I want to see it. I would love to see. I mean, it's awful, but I mean, like, I want to see that. because it's gonna make me cry. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, man. But it would make me cry. All right, man. Just a couple more. Iron Man, Tony Stark, Tony Stank. Does he make it?
No, and I want him and Cap both to die. So
I did not know that. No,
I've told you that like a million times.
Maybe
man.
you have. I don't know. Wow. So you don't think he makes it?
No, I think Tony needs to live on as like a holographic, the new Jarvis.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Again, it makes him cheaper.
Yeah, dude, for me, I think he does make it. This is one we're going to disagree on. And dude, my reasoning for this is a bit silly. I think continuing on the character makes sense. And maybe they do what you do. Maybe he doesn't physically move on. Maybe it's some sort of intelligence he leaves behind. I don't know. Some sort of computer software. I don't know what he does. But I do think in some way Iron Man, it continues on post Endgame. And dude, I know I'm holding on to this little nugget of information that it may not mean anything, but dude, and it's kind of cheap, I understand. But in the Far From Home trailer, Flash refers to Thor and Iron Man, and I gotta think he wouldn't do that if those characters were dead.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Because he's not like, he's like a disappointed thing.
Remember Thor and Iron Man?
Well, maybe also he's excited because he hasn't seen those powers lately. Like he hasn't seen them. So he's like, he's like this and this because it reminds him of a happier time.
Maybe. No, I think that could be very true. But I think I think for me, for my money, I keep saying for my money. I'm such an idiot. But out of Thor, Cap, and Iron Man, your three sort of your holy trinity of characters there. I think you lose one and end up with two. And for me, I think the one you lose is Cap, and the two that you continue with are Thor and Iron Man.
Dude, Tony Stark's story is over, man.
I don't disagree with that. Whatsoever.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Without Iron Man getting his own movie, where else do you see him going? That's like satisfying.
Maybe he finally becomes a dad. I don't know.
And then we never see him in like Spider-Man: Far From Home. That's crazy.
Dude, it doesn't. I mean, I'm just saying. This is all theory and speculation, my friend.
I know. But your theory's wrong.
It probably is. All right. 100 T Pulse. I hope you're still in the chat listening. We've got the big baddie. We've got the big purple Hulk himself. Thanos, the Titan. Does Thanos make it to the end of Endgame? What say you, Eric?
I think he has to die.
Dude, you said we were going to disagree. No, I'm totally 100% with you. I don't think he makes it.
Oh, wow.
No.
Oh, no, that was Isaac. Isaac thinks he'll live.
Dude, I think it's ridiculous to think that he lives. Somebody's going to take him out. I don't know who it is.
He'll come back with the Infinity Stones later on, and I'm like, no.
Now, I mean, okay, so Ernie always says, I love what Ernie says. It's like when something weird happens and it doesn't make sense, he's like, well, comics. Like it's because of comics. I could totally see Thanos popping up in a movie again down the line. But
all right, 100 T Pulse. I'm so sorry. He said if Captain Marvel kills Thanos, I'm out of the theater. If he does die, it needs to be Cap, Iron Man, or Thor. What if it was the Guardians or Nebula? Like someone with an actual personal stake against him. That's who I want it to be.
100 T Pulse. I don't know if you heard our discussion earlier, but Eric and I were sort of in agreement that, I mean, I've always said from the beginning, I always wanted either Drax or Nebula. I'm sorry, not Nebula. Gamora to be the one to take out Thanos. I would love for that to be the case. I mean, Captain Marvel makes so much sense. Thor makes a lot of sense. But I don't want to see that. I want to see Drax take him out. I want to see Nebula take him out. I want to see Gamora take him out. Heck, dude, Peter. Dude, if it's all of the Guardians combined and somehow, that would be awesome. Because Peter has stakes in the game too. You know, Peter hates Thanos quite a bit as well. So yeah, you and I both are on the same page that Thanos does not make it. Now, maybe he does pop up again in something down the line, But I think
the Eternals, like a younger version or a baby or something. I'm sure he will.
There you go. That's an interesting way to think about it. But dude, no, I don't think there's any solution to ending the story without Thanos dying. I think Thanos has to end in one way or another. Because, dude, if you, what jail are you going to put him in? What you can't put him in like the Phantom Zone or something, unless they send him to like some realm like where he's all by himself or something like that. I don't know.
Well, if he like replaced like Red Skull or like he's stuck in the stones or something, I don't know.
Or the quantum realm.
No, I feel like the quantum realm's too important to just throw him in.
I don't know, man, but I think there's no way this movie ends without the untimely death of one Titan A Thanos. Woo!
Is that what is? Man, this is a long episode.
This is a long episode. We're getting ready to wrap up here. What do you guys think of our list? This is going to be reposted in its own separate video, so I plan on doing more with it. But I really was excited to get this list done, just to sort of get our thoughts on where we thought for Endgame, dude, being just a week away. I thought it would be just something fun to do, just to see sort of where we were at with all of the characters. What do you guys think of our list? What characters do you expect to see make it to the end of Endgame? What characters do you think won't make it to the end of Endgame? Be sure to let us know in the comments below.